Good evening and welcome to our eighth Dialogue podcast. Thank you for joining us. We are here at the Tepeyac Institute, and today we are very excited because we have with us Manuel Barrios. Manny Barrios, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Deacon.
Great. You are part of our faculty, and for how long have you been part of our faculty, Manny?
Deacon, I was thinking about that the other day, and I've been a part of the faculty for Tepeyac Institute probably like about 10 years.
10 years. That's great. That's pretty much when you were studying the master, right, at the Tepeyac?
That's right, because I was a part of the first group of the Loyola University Master's program. And when I graduated, then that's when I believe I came on board. I was asked to come on board and teach courses for Tepeyac Institute.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We have a group of people right now that are studying their master's degree, and we're going to have 25 next December, a
25.
year from now.
Wow.
So it's going to be interesting because in your group, I know in the Loyola, how many were there in that group? Many?
The first group, we started off with like about 18, and I think we ended up having people that graduated were like probably like around 13 or 14 that graduated.
Great. That's great. So you started teaching at Tepeyac. Which classes have you been teaching, Manny?
Well, it looks like I end up teaching the Christian formation most of the time, which I really enjoy. I used to have my favorites, but ever since the Tepeyac Institute would ask me to teach other classes, I ended up liking all of them. So all of them, I like all of them, 1 through 12. Now that I've had an opportunity to teach almost, I think I've taught almost all of them. Maybe there's one or two that I haven't, but I really like to teach Christian formation, and I'm also asked very much to teach the ministry, the Eucharistic Extraordinary Ministers of Communion courses, mostly in Spanish, is where I've been asked to teach that one. I've been at one time was asked to do the lectors, proclaimers. I did that only one time, was one course. Um, and I've also been asked to also teach at the Summer Institute, and also the master certificate program as well.
Great. That's very good. You have been very active. And and I know some told me that you have been going to West Texas, right?
Yes, the Institute will call me, and sometimes I'll say, Manny, we need you, please. We're in a bind. Can you go to West Texas to Alpine? And I really enjoy going to Alpine. When Father Beto was there, he was a very good host. And the group there was great. I've noticed that when I'm able to go to West Texas, uh, the people are just they're amazing. This last time that you all asked me to go to the one closer over here. Where was it that you all asked me to go to? Where it was a really good group. I really enjoyed them, and they enjoyed me uh, when I went that day. I think it was near Odessa. Was it Fort Stockton or
Pecos?
Pecos? It was Pecos. Yes, Deacon. That was a really nice experience. The group there was really good.
Yeah. We're very fortunate to have somebody like you because, as you mentioned, sometimes when we are struggling on the scheduling and all that, we need people who will say yes to us. And you have been saying yes a lot. We appreciate that.
It's my honor. I'm very honored to be a part of the Tepeyac Institute as faculty. Thank you for your support, Deacon, and you know that you have mine as well.
Great. And on top of that, Manny, you are working as an administrator, right, for Cristo Rey?
Well, for 9 years, I was able to do that. I was appointed by Bishop Armando Ochoa 9 years ago when there was a situation that priests were retiring and he had to make changes, and there weren't enough priests or deacons at the time. So he called me in and asked me, he said, well, man, you have your master's. and I need somebody that would be capable, and I need somebody to be an administrator for a parish that's not going to have a pastor. And I was floored. I was like, well, I thank you so much. And I said, I wanted to know if you would say yes. And I said, yes. And he says, okay, it's going to be your parish of Cristo Rey. And it was really awesome because he celebrated every Mass that Saturday and Sunday to let the people know how it was going to work, that I was going to be the administrator, and that Cristo Rey would not be without a priest, that he found a priest by the name of Father Benjamin Mones that said yes to be what his title would be, priest in residence, sacramental minister. And so that worked out real well. And then after Father Mones retired, went back to the Philippines, and of course, was he passed away. Um, Father Esteban Siscon was appointed and to be the sacramental minister, priest in residence. And then, as you know, Bishop Mark made changes, and he appointed Father Jose Vera, that is now our pastor there. So I'm no longer the parish administrator, but the bishop gave me the title of business administrator to still be there at Cristo Rey. And I was very thankful to Bishop Mark that he thought of me and didn't want to let me go altogether.
That's great. It is because when we were on the deconfirmation, they told us that we have to be prepared to help the priest because the sacramental work it's very exhausting, and on top of that, the administrative part of it it's complicated.
Yes,
So
my experience being the church administrator, I was able to. I have the highest respect for pastors, because it's a lot of responsibility and it's a lot of work. And I've even had several priests tell me, I wish I had an administrator like you, a lay person that was an administrator at the church, so they could free me up and do my sacramental work, more easily. I've had some priests tell me that. But uh, as I told Bishop Mark the other day when he called me, that I was helping out Father Rivera to make the transition over to Cristo Rey as easy as possible, and he thanked me for that.
that's great. Yeah, that's we need a lot of support. And I was hearing Pope Francis saying that he's considering that the key jobs of the Vatican should be taken by laity, and very importantly, also adding women in those key roles because uh, our church has been for a while very much centered into male roles and clergy or priest in high positions. But your situation has been like a very bright example of what a lay person can do in our church, right?
Well, I hope that, like I was telling Bishop Mark when he was telling me about the changes, he said he congratulated me with the good work that I did, but he said that he felt that every church needed to have a pastor, an ordained minister, a priest, and that was his goal, which I understand and I agreed
Mhm.
to, and but he thanked me for the good work, and I know Bishop Ochoa 9 years ago told me, he says, you're going to be the first one appointed as a lay person, as a church administrator in the El Paso diocese. He says it's being done across the nation because of the lack of a priest, of appointing lay people that are studied and that are able to do that. He says, so all eyes are on you. So these 9 years, all eyes have been on me, and I hope that I was able to do the best that I could, Deacon. And I know that I look up to you as well. Whenever I teach class, sometimes I will mention you, and I'll to give the students and the people there, to make them feel that they're important as lay ministers. And I tell them, I'll never forget a couple of years ago in a faculty meeting with Deacon Cardenas. And I tell him, I said, he elevated you all. He elevated you all when he mentioned to us that you all are not just servants of God, but you are ministers of God. I'll never forget when you said that, because to me that hit a chord, and you're right. And so I tell him, you all are ministers of God. He placed you further up on there to give you more importance so that you all understand the important role that you play at your parish where you minister at.
Yes. And the last class that we have on the Christian formation, that is called Civilization of Love, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a community of saints where we all love one another. And it sounds like a dream, but I think we are putting our share into this because we want to have the people coming to Tepeyac understanding how important they are in the role because we are priests, prophets, and kings. So this is very important. And yes, go ahead.
Yes, Deacon, and that's exactly why I tell them about what you said, because I do go back to to Vatican II, in 1963, 1964, where they opened the doors to us lay ministers to be able to serve in our faith the way that we should have been doing, because we are baptized, prophet, priest, and king. And that's exactly what I tell them to. And that's when I go into where I tell them what you told us, that they are ministers, not just servants, but ministers of the Lord.
Yes, we have something very important, and that is we tell the people they when they come for the formation classes, we tell them you are not going to be the pastor's helper. You are fulfilling your mission given to you by Jesus, right?
Correct. That's a very good point. That's a very good way of saying it, Deacon.
Yes, and you have been doing it, and I know that you have been working very hard. I have seen you, and we have been very close to Cristo Rey because we had the formation, our own formation as deacons there, and we had the last group of that is right now getting close to is to also to be ordained next year. They have been also going there. So we have been very close, and I can see what you're doing, and I'm very proud and very excited of what you have done, Manny.
Deacon, your words, thank you for your words. They mean a lot to me, and I thank you so much.
Yes, and not only me, I know the community of Corpus Christi can, the Cristo Rey, I'm changing you now. Cristo Rey can say about that. And I'm seeing you, and I have been concerned to see your face because I see that you are struggling a little bit breathing. How are you feeling?
You know, um, Having COVID-19 has been an experience, Deacon, that I'll never forget. When I struggled with it, I tried my best not to go to the hospital. So, um, but it wasn't easy. There was one night where my oxygen level went to 90, and I was told that it shouldn't go down under 90. And I was struggling, trying to catch my breath for like 4 hours. I was giving up that night, and I turned to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, a frame that I have, and I was crying to Jesus. And I said, "Please, I need your merciful love. Be merciful. I need you now." And I remember after 4 hours, I was able to breathe a little bit better. And I went to bed, not knowing if I would wake up. And I woke up breathing better. But at nighttime, every night, I would struggle with my breathing, and I would take the albuterol rescue inhaler, which would kind of help out, and the steroids would kind of help out. And finally, Trilogy, it's got two steroids and a bronchial, something to help you breathe, and that worked out very good for 2 weeks for me. But it is not a virus that's easy to have, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And so now, after 5 weeks, I am much better. I have a second chance of life, and it helps me to reflect, not to take simple things in life for granted, just to live and just to breathe. When I breathe now, I love breathing. I felt like a fish out of water. I love breathing because that's the worst part of this virus. But Father Vera, our pastor, when he called me to see how I was doing, he mentioned something about one of the readings that hit him to heart, where Jesus reminds us that we need to come back to him. We need to come back to God, and we need to look at ourselves and make small changes that have big outcomes. And that has to do with our spirituality. And when he said that, that's exactly how I felt when I was trying to survive COVID-19, Deacon. And being on faculty at the Tepeyac Institute, now when I go ahead and have classes to instruct, I know that perhaps my style will change a little bit, not much, but a little bit, so that I can let them know how precious life is, just to be able to breathe, just to be able to be alive and serve God.
Yes, definitely. I know that some people out there, they don't believe in the virus, and we tell them that it is there, and to be careful, to use the masks. And some people don't get it because it hasn't touched them close. And when we found out that you were struggling, uh, we were on our knees praying for you.
Deacon, thank you. I needed prayer. I needed prayer so much. It was, it was tough. It was tough, and I know that the people in the hospitals that are being intubated right now, we have our the couple that heads our bereavement ministry. The she's back home, thank God, from the hospital, but she's losing her husband. He's in critical condition right now and on a ventilator. And as we find our ministers at our parishes suffering and going through that, uh, it's it's this virus is very unpredictable, and you just don't know how you're going to react. Where some people are asymptomatic or they have very little symptoms, and some other people struggle with it. And I struggled with it, and it scared me. And it scared my daughter when she tested negative because she lives with me. I told her, you go live with your mom for a while because you need to be safe, and you're in your last year at UTEP, and she's in biology, and she's going to the hospitals in the labs, learning lab work where she can find diseases and illnesses. And she doesn't need to get this virus right now because she's almost going to graduate in May. And I said, you go. She's back because now I'm not contagious anymore, and she's happy to be back. But that's how dangerous this virus is, that it's being passed on to family members, and you don't know if one family member is going to end up dying from it.
Yeah, this Thanksgiving was a sad Thanksgiving for some of us because we lost some relatives, or because we are concerned, so concerned about our families, because uh, in some cases my wife, she's vulnerable. So if I am carrying the disease and she's vulnerable, she may die, and I couldn't carry that burden on me, being the one that infected her. So that's why we spend all this time at home, and we use the mask, and we keep social distances, and we wash our hands, and we use hand sanitizer. But all that is just not enough. We need to have this sense of solidarity. In
Yeah.
solidarity, I know some people feel tired because it's been 9 months that when we started the lockdown. It's and 9 months is a long time, but it's well worth it. The life of our loved ones, right?
Deacon, you brought up a good point because, when you have family members that have underlying conditions, that's a concern. And thank God I don't have underlying conditions. Maybe that's what helped me. And then the doctor started me on the COVID-19 medications right away. And prayer, God. I mean, we can't do this by ourselves. You're right. God has to be with us. And the thing is that when I'll give an example of what you said. I got this at the church, and the our church gardener, groundskeeper, was the first one to test positive. So the rest of us, the diocese said, you all need to go get tested. And sure enough, the maintenance worker got was positive, and then me, the three of us. Thank God the rest tested negative. And I keep thinking because people are saying, Manny, you were so safe wearing glasses and the mask, and I still got it because this virus you can't beat it. And I'm thinking as to what was it, and I'm thinking that we have a time clock in the church office. So when we get there, we clock in. We use our thumb to clock in that machine. It clocks us in, and then we clock out. And so I'm thinking that perhaps that's where I wasn't paying attention. That we all clock in, the maintenance man, the groundskeeper, and everything. And so I'm thinking that when I clocked in, I didn't wash my hands afterwards. I'm thinking that's the way I got it. And sadly enough, our groundskeeper, the first one that got the COVID-19, he ended up in the hospital. He ended up intubated, and his wife received a phone call from the hospital saying they did all they could, but his organs were failing, and he passed away. So that hit hard. Hit hard at church. And the maintenance person, he got the least of the symptoms. He's doing very well. And then, of course, I got it very hard. But for our groundskeeper to die from COVID-19 we were very, very sad.
Yes, it is very hard. I lost my an uncle and my cousin because of this illness, and I've seen it all around. My sister is recovering, and when we see all this happening, and I try to convey the message and tell people, please be careful. This is so important. And when you hear somebody who says that the virus does not exist, I want to slap them silly because it's been hitting us. And I believe that if we can convince our community, every night I go out and I walk around here, some blocks around my home, and when I'm walking there, sometimes I hear the music and I see the cars. They're throwing parties at this moment, and I know, and when I see it, I just think and realize they have not been hurt. But there's a house where every day that I was passing by, there were have a large group of people sharing, talking, no masks, nothing. They were just enjoying. And suddenly we pass and that house is dark. And it's been dark for several weeks. So I think they were hit hard, and that's why this is happening. But we should be preventive. We should be careful and not try to live the experience. Some young people, even they were trying to get the virus. I don't know if you remember that they were saying that they wanted to get the virus so they will get through, and that's going to be the end. That I don't have to worry anymore. But we have lost the lives of some young people, even children, for this illness. And I'm so glad that you are recovering, that you are feeling much better. I see you struggle sometimes when you're breathing, and I know I don't want to overwhelm you, Manny. I can only tell you that we love you so much. We're praying for you, and hopefully, when we go back to teach face to face, you're gonna be there with us.
I'm looking forward to it. And I'm so grateful to God that He has given me a second chance. And I'm grateful that to the diocese, the prayers. I'm very thankful and I'm very proud to be a part of the Tepeyac faculty. And I want to continue to be a part of the faculty. And I want you to know that you can count on me, and that I will continue to do my best, to prepare our lay ministers during Christian formation classes, and anything else that you think that you need me to do, that you can count on me, Deacon.
Definitely, Manny. Thank you very much for your time, and we're going to give you some time so you can rest because I know you, and you are not exactly the one that I know. I know we are tiring you, so thank you for joining us in this podcast, and we talk about so many different subjects, and in the future we may come back to visit you again and see how you're doing. Okay?
That would be awesome. God bless you, Deacon.
God bless you to you, Manny.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in this our eighth edition of the podcast Dialogo. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you. God bless you.